You see something like this, somebody carrying that coming at you, I would run. I'm going to tell you how I was drugged, robbed, beat up in Colombia, almost died, and how this little tool came into play, and how I ended up in the hospital, and what really happened there. The big question came, have I been inoculated? And I said, no. And they're like, okay, well. But what happened to me started in a bar and in my hotel. Now, I'd already been in Colombia for almost a year. I spent a long time in Colombia. So I was smart, right, man? I knew how to not get hurt, beat up, and robbed in Colombia at this time. So I'm like, okay, I'm good inside a hotel. I can have a cocktail. I've paid for my room, and there's only like me in the bar and a couple other people that had come and gone. Looked like upper-class Colombian people, and I felt pretty comfortable there having a drink with ice in it. I never do that, and I shouldn't say I never do it, but where it's a bar. A restaurant where it's just like a Coke sometimes, if I'm with somebody and they know the restaurant, I'll do it there, but this is rare. In a hotel, and I thought, okay, I'm going to have a vodka. This is back when I drank. I don't drink anymore. I'm going to have a vodka and Coke, or vodka and something. And so I had one, and then I had another one. I didn't get drunk. And I went up to my room, and I was like, oh, man, I think I'm going to go to sleep. And then I woke up a little bit later. For some reason, I got up, and I wanted to get up and go get something to eat. I was hungry. And then I was like, okay, maybe it's just the alcohol and I'm just hungry, the midnight snacks. I don't know what's going on. I'm just feeling a little weird. I got something to eat. And then when I was riding back down, it's a downhill section, not real steep. And I hit a banana tree, believe it or not. I hit the banana tree, fell off the bike, and then I was like just kind of knocked out for a second. I got knocked out. And I was laying there going, holy shit, I'm knocked out, I'm done. And then these two guys on a motorcycle pull up and they go, amigo, amigo. And they came up to me, and I'm already sitting up at this time. I'm ready to get up and shake it off somehow, get back to my room. And they're like, and I thought these guys were going to help me out, and they didn't look shifty. But guys on a motorcycle, that's always bad. But they look clean cut, I was like, no, amigos, I'm good. And he says, no, you're not. And he just smacks the shit out of me. And then I wake up again, second time I've been knocked out, and here comes an ambulance, and it's like a scene. There's people standing around, and I'm in a section of this is where Pablo Escobar's neighborhood used to be, and it's not as dangerous as it used to be, but man, it's not safe, especially at night. I shouldn't have been out. I got hungry after drinking a little. I thought that's what it was. So anyway, I get picked up. We go to the hospital, and they're doing all sorts of things to me. I'm completely out of it. I don't know what's wrong with me. But also the weird thing is I started feeling, I thought it was the alcohol coming on. I'm like, oh, great, now I've been knocked out. I got alcohol in my system, and it's looking bad. So they start running all these tests on me, and they're like, hey, did you do any drugs? I'm like, no, I didn't do any drugs. I don't do drugs. I just drank a couple of drinks in the bar. And they're kind of coming and going and coming and going. And now this is during the thing that happened 5 years ago, remember? And so there's a lot of they're really being careful with me, of course, mask and gloves and everything, and it's real sketchy. And a lot of it I don't remember, but what I do remember at one point when they were coming at me, they're coming at me with a needle and a little tray and stuff, and they said, well, we have to do a spinal tap. Because they thought I had been drugged. They said I didn't have any drugs. I had nothing. I'm like, I didn't do any drugs. And they're, yeah, but you have something in your system. And I'm like, holy crap. So then, it takes I don't know, an hour or two. They come and they do a spinal tap on me. And by now, I'm just really freaked out. They're coming at me with needles and stuff. And then they asked me the big question. The big question came. And it was, have I been inoculated, or the word? And I said, for the thing. And I said, no. And they're like, okay, well, and they go back and they start getting stuff, and they're like, yeah, well, you're in the hospital. Well, you should get your thing, with the needle. And then first thing they do, and I go, no, I don't want that. Thank God I was awake. And then they came at me with this big thing. It looked like a Q-tip. And they were going to come at me and put that in here, and I was like, no. My mom always said, don't put those in your nose, or your ears. And so I said no to that and started to really wake up and sober up. Now, they had already done Spinal Tap. I was drugged with Scopolamine. We did find that out, and bartender probably did it. There's no way to prove it in Colombia. Man, you can't just go get the cops. They won't go and check anybody out. So I'd been drugged with Scopolamine. They're coming at me with this and going to give me one of these. And I said, no way, man. I'm not that. I don't do them. Now, if you disagree with me on that, I understand. If you agree with me, I understand completely. That was my gut feeling. It was the whole reason I fled to the Andes, to stay away from people. And that whole gut feeling, my moral compass said no. And so anyway, I just let that dissolve. But anyway, that's it. I got out of the hospital. I went back to my room the next morning, and I just I did have the Spinal Tap. Who knows what they shot me with, right? But at least I got out of there before they were going to put that up my nose and do any more stuff to me. And that's just how I feel about it. I'm probably going to lose some subs over this one. But, man, that's just how I feel. And you should know how I feel. If you're going to be on my channel here watching me, you ought to know a little bit how I feel about that kind of invasive stuff, that comes from the outside. You got to go with that navigation on the inside. Thanks for watching, man. Please like and subscribe.